Hey everyone, it's Rob with Passport to the Parks, and today is Thursday, March the 14th, and I am here standing next to Hourglass Lake between Art of Animation and Disney's Pop Century Resorts. We're going to take a quick walk around the lake and basically just kind of see what's going on with the Skyliner. I'd like to keep you in tune with what's going on all over with the Disney Skyliner at all the different resorts and the theme parks. So let me see who I have coming on here. I know you guys come on really quick. Albin, Floyd, Jimmy. Let's see here. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, actually. Kevin, is it Mick, Mike? Hey, Rob, how are you? Kenny, welcome. Wishes forever. Ben Price Tag, good morning. Paul, welcome. Tracy Story, hey, how are you? Noreen, or is that Norleen? Sorry about that. Welcome. Let me get you turned around here. And where's my button? Nope, that's not the button. There it is. All right, again, Hourglass Lake, one of the most beautiful sites, I think, in Disney. I love how it's in between both resorts here, and both resorts kind of share each other's amenities and everything. I think that's a really great idea. All incorporated by the Friendship Bridge, which is where the Disney Skyliner station is located. But I'm over here by the 50s right now, over in Pop Century, and we'll just kind of walk around the lake. We'll talk a little bit. Doesn't look like a whole lot going on with the Skyliner here. There really hasn't been. I'm surprised on how this has kind of been delayed over here. Like I said, they've been doing some different work on the towers. They're not up there today, but yesterday they had a pontoon boat out and they were climbing each one of the towers to do some work on them. So maybe there's some issues with that, maybe a little delay with that, but I would assume at any time they'll start running the gondolas. And what we're going to see is what we saw similar over to Hollywood Studios when they originally ran the two gondolas and then the service gondola in between those. And basically what they're doing is the person on the service gondola attaches a device, almost like a grip device that goes onto the haul rope. And as the gondolas go over the sheaves, that device is measuring and determining the haul rope, is making sure that it's centered as the gondolas travel along the haul rope. And they make any kind of little tiny adjustments and everything before they start putting the actual gondolas on. So it's a very slow moving process. That's basically what they're doing with those two gondolas with the service gondola in between. So let's see here. D Wood, welcome. Ron, welcome. I am live right now. Yes, I am. Kathleen Parks, hello from Frisco, Texas. Keith, hey, how are you? Kevin, since you are at Pop, can you get those room numbers? Let's see, can you get me those room numbers bottom floor by the Skyliner? Yes, we'll take a look at those when we go over there. We'll see exactly what rooms those are. EF, hello. Janet, welcome from the rainy UK. Allie, oh, it goes over the water. So the map images on the skyline shows the station at the end of the lake between the two resorts is not where the station is. Well, it's basically, it sits right in the center of Hourglass Lake. So if you look at an hourglass, it would be right in the thinnest part. That's why they call it Hourglass Lake here. It sits in between both resorts on the Friendship Bridge, and it does. It travels over this portion of the water, and as it travels down, comes out of the water and then up over some wooded area over to the Caribbean Beach Resort. Kimberly, hey, from Pennsylvania. Myra, Paulin, and Joshua. Hey, I'm sick today. I have a cold. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. Kevin, you're very welcome. Chris, hello, welcome. JW Dasso, John, great to see you as well. Well, I'm not seeing you, but I can see your name at least. Nana, hey, from Missouri. Darren, oh, you're at Pop Century right now. That's cool. You should come along Hourglass Lake. You can check this out. I'm sure you've seen it already, but which section of Pop are you actually staying in? Got a little fenced off area here. Looks like they did some repaving. This is pretty neat. They have the alternate route sign just to get from this little section around to the other section. I guess they have to do it though. Scott, hey, I had to stop watching your Fantasmic live. Hang on a second here. Where'd you go? Live stream to view you now. Oh, you were watching the Fantasmic on YouTube. That's awesome. Well, definitely want to join us live. That's a lot more fun. Mick, have you ever seen any evacuation testing yet? I remember seeing some construction of them clearing near some of the buildings for access. I haven't seen anything as far as that process yet. There's a little pigeon up in the tree. I haven't seen any evacuation. I haven't seen ladders or trucks or any of that process. I'm not sure if we'll actually see that. I would love to catch something like that. I don't know what the plans are as far as what their evacuation process will be. But it would be pretty cool if we can catch something like that, absolutely. Darren only just arrived from the UK, just settling in. Very, very cool. I hear it's rainy in the UK, so you've definitely come to the right place. It's a gorgeous day today. See, Faith, will it be up and running? Or when will it be up and running? Faith from Miami. Well, obviously Galaxy's Edge is now opening at the end of August, so that really puts a change on things as far as when this could possibly open. Disney has been announcing that it would be in the fall. And again, it's kind of determined on what the Caribbean Beach Station, how far they can get along with that. Because again, that's the central hub for the whole system. So that pretty much has to be ready to go in order for them to open up the different lines. Is it possible that they could get Hollywood Studios and the Art of Animation lines open prior to Galaxy's Edge? Yeah, that's very possible. But I'm just not sure if they would actually do it based on, I don't know if they can get the Epcot line ready to go. That would really be kind of pushing it, especially with the what's happening over at the Riviera. And I don't know if they'd open up the Caribbean Station with construction still happening and testing still happening for that Epcot line. It's a good question. It's kind of funny. Yesterday at the Caribbean Beach, I had one of the actual Imagineers came out and was leaving the work site, and I was kind of chatting with her for a second, and I asked her, did she think that they would open prior to Galaxy's Edge, and she kind of chuckled a little bit, and she said no comment. She kind of smiled and said no comment. So I don't know how to take that. I don't know if it was chuckling like, you know, it's possible, or chuckling like there's no way. I kind of think that it could be very possible that they'll get it open prior to Galaxy's Edge. We do know that they're going to start cast member testing at the beginning of April. They've been having sign-ups and stuff for that, so the cast members will definitely start beginning of April, and that obviously is going to start over at Hollywood Studios. Hey, Zippity Doodad, welcome. I did get your email, my friend, and I'm kind of looking into that to see what the process is behind what you emailed me about. So give me a little time to do that, but I probably think it's probably a good idea, considering the amount of people I've been having coming on lately. Looks like they're doing a little refurbishment on the yo-yos here. They're always doing this kind of stuff. They're always painting and power washing and doing touch-ups and things like that. So you can always expect that when you come to the resorts. This is truly, truly, truly going to be a beautiful ride over Hourglass Lake. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that the gondola is no longer in the station here. I don't think it's back behind these two walls here. I believe it's sitting over in the Caribbean Beach Station, and that's been that way for at least a couple weeks that I've noticed. So they did obviously move that across the rope over to the Caribbean Beach Station. And once they're ready to, they'll do those the 2 gondolas in the service gondola and bring it all the way back, circle it around and take it back. And again, they're testing the positioning of the haul rope when they're doing that. All right, so let's see what we got here. Zippity Doodad, I think it was a wink with no comments. Yeah, I kind of took it like that too. It was just kind of the smirk was like, there's a possibility that we could see it maybe open. Let's see, Jamie, coming mid-October from Ontario, Canada, with a Skyliner and Caribbean Beach be done. I think definitely by mid-October. We're hopefully talking that it'll get done prior to Galaxy's Edge, which is going to be at the end of summer now. Let's see here. Any word on Rise of the Resistance? Hopefully by the end of the year. We all know that they've announced that Smuggler's Run is going to open over at Galaxy's Edge right when it does open, end of August, and hopefully the Rise of the Resistance will open hopefully by the end of the year. Dave C. Rob, do you recommend one hotel where you're at right now, one of the hotels where you're at right now, or Caribbean Beach? It all depends on kind of what you want. This is more fun, kind of whimsical. You have the animation, the characters. You have the bigger icons, you know, the yo-yos and the big Disney characters and stuff here. Really great food courts here. Caribbean Beach is a little more laid back. You get the beach atmosphere, the islands. You got the beautiful old Port Royale over there. A little more dining options, a little more shopping, and a really, really beautiful pool. I think one of the best pools on property. So, you know, it's kind of a personal thing. What are you really looking for? You know, you want that whimsical Disney feel, or do you want that more laid-back island feel? They're both beautiful resorts. I think you'd be happy at both. I love going to all of them. Obviously, you see I spend a lot of time at them here. So, Modeling Disney, can you walk across the bridge to see how wide the station is by foot? Yeah, we'll eventually get there. I just kind of want to grab some of these comments. There's a ton of them that come in. I apologize if I don't get to them all. I try to get as many as I can. Liam, new track being added to the Tomorrowland Speedway for the layout to accommodate the Tron light cycle coaster and new walkway. Yeah, I know they've been doing a lot of work over there. Liam, you seem to be up on a lot of the up and comings. From what I've heard is that they are going to renovate the speedway itself to electric cars and kind of more of a Tron theme, or a more futuristic theme to the speedway itself. I don't know what you've heard about that, but I think it would be a great idea if they were to go to more of an electric car and update the speedway along with Tron, since they're going to be so close to each other. Hang on, I get some pictures before I leave here. Looks like they're going up into the tracks to do some different work up there, which is kind of promising. At least all the walls are down here now. This looks like to be one of the more complete stations out of all of them. Just some stuff that they got going on in the back here, but for the most part, I think this station is fairly well complete. They may do some more work maybe on the bottom here to make this look a little prettier. But as far as the station itself, it looks really, really good, and it looks fairly well complete. I just love that view. I cannot wait for these gondolas. And I mean, look how low that those gondolas are going to be to the water. I mean, they're virtually going to be just above the water. I love it. It's going to be one of my favorite areas to ride. Mick, I hope the white building is removed, or at least painted with a nice mural. Hope the white building. Oh, on the sides there. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I don't know if those are going to be used as, they're probably going to be used as crew quarters for the, on either side, as far as a housing, you know, the people who are actually working, that they can go inside, maybe a little break area, or there's one on either side. So curious to know exactly what those are going to be used for. But all of these walls will obviously come down, all these construction walls, once it's done. Florida Joey-Con probably might open the Skyliner earlier than Star Wars Land so they can make sure that the Skyliner works smoothly before the big crowds. Yeah, I mean, that obviously would be nice, but, you know, like I said, it kind of relates around the Caribbean Beach Station, you know, how far they can get with that. I mean, we'd all love for it to open early. I'd love to see it open in the summer. There's just, there's no confirmation on that, except for a, you know, a little smirk and a no comment from an Imagineer yesterday. So this is the Friendship Bridge right now, and I mean, the wall is pretty far out here, so there's not much of a walkway. They've actually extended this wall out. This used to be a little bit wider walking down this bridge. So they've added, looks like the light fixtures back here. So this is all going to be walkway, and this is kind of basically where you'll enter and exit right through here. So you just walk onto the bridge. So it looks really nice. It'll be nice and well lit. There's lighting on both sides. Actually, you know what I think? Now that I think about it, I'm sorry, that's probably the existing lighting on the bridge already. I think that's the other side of the bridge. So they'll open up, you know, they'll open up railing wherever they're going to put on the other side of this wall. They'll open up the railing so you'll be able to enter. It's a very cool looking station though, with the slopes and everything. So yeah, in the concept art, those two side white buildings are not there. So I'm not sure if they're going to stay or not. I'm not 100% sure on that one. See, Dominic, they renamed it the Friendship Bridge. I thought it was the Generation Gap Bridge. You know, it might be called that. I've heard people call it the Friendship Bridge. I may just keep calling that, and it could be the Generation Gap Bridge. So you might be right. It's probably Generation Gap, and I just keep calling it the Friendship Bridge because that's what I heard a couple times. But Generation Gap sounds good as well. It's the bridge between Hourglass Lake, whatever you would personally like to call it, I guess. So this looks to be coming along fairly well. This is just going to be a restroom area here. Hey guys. So all of these stations will have restroom access. Hollywood Studios, they built the brand new restrooms right next to the Skyliner and between the bus stations and the Skyliner. Caribbean Beach most likely will have restrooms on the inside and the interior. Let's see, they built the restrooms here. International Gateway already has restrooms right there when you get off. And let's see, Riviera Riviera will most likely have restrooms right inside or very close to the station itself. So this is all fenced off. This is just kind of refurb stuff that they're doing on the Art of Animation itself. Make the world's smallest restroom. I guess it doesn't need to be big, considering the guests will just be leaving the rooms. Right, it doesn't have to be extraordinary. It's probably just going to be, you know, 1 or 2 stalls. But obviously they need them for some reason. There's restrooms located by each one of the stations. Michael, can you see through the wraps? Yeah, barely. It's just, like I said, they're just kind of doing some aesthetics on the inside. Are you talking about the fence wraps or the, maybe you're talking about the gondola wraps? If you're talking about the gondola wraps, you can, in certain light, you can kind of see through a lot of them. Let's see here. I guess we were talking, let me get back here, try to catch up a little bit. David, new Star Wars is open in August. Will the Skyliner open prior? That's one of the things we always discuss. It's a very good possibility. Again, it kind of depends on what they do at the Caribbean Beach station, how far along they get with that. You know, it's possible that they can get it open early summer, or I'm sorry, late summer. But, you know, Disney still is sticking to the fall. But, you know, Galaxy's Edge was supposed to open in the end of the year, and they really came through on that. So we'll see. Stephen, I'll be staying in Caribbean Beach in 1 week. How intrusive is the construction in the standard room villages? As far as construction right now, the Jamaica and Aruba is really, really tore up over there. If you stay in on the other side, Barbados, Trinidad, and Martinique, you should have no problems. Zippity Doodad, show of hands, how many think that Rob should be the first to ride the Skyliner? Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. I'd be really psyched about that. Michael, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Very well appreciated. How will the cast members do testing if they are all wrapped up? You can enter. The doors do open even though they are wrapped. They've been doing full testing as they go through. So the cast members will get inside. The cast members don't need to see out. It's not about what the cast members see. It's about having physical bodies inside and, you know, weight adjustment as people are moving along and sliding across the seats. And that's what it's more to test the load of the gondolas and movement inside the gondolas. It's not for the cast members to look out. So the gondolas can be wrapped through the entire process without a problem. But thank you so much, Michael. That is it's very much appreciated for that super chat. Tim, any construction in the Cars suite? No, I don't believe they're doing anything down towards Cars. I was just down there about a week or so ago, and they hadn't started. There's all kinds of hands for me to ride the Skyliner. Very, very cool. I appreciate that, guys. Let's see here. Keith, do I have a favorite station? I think this one is pretty cool. Like I said, I think this is going to be the best run as far as going across the line itself, just because of the water. It looks really pretty. That run going into Caribbean is nice as well. It goes over the water. Station-wise, though, I think actually the one over at Riviera is looking really, really pretty. They put all the tiling and stuff on the roof and the sort of the iron lattice and stuff that's on the side. It's really a pretty station. And the International Gateway is pretty too, with the artwork, the painting of the Florida cranes on the front. So as far as pretty looking stations, those two. This one here I think just looks cool. It's just very modern and retro, and Caribbean Beach is just massive. I mean, it's an outdoor marketplace, but it's so big. I think that one, when it's lit up, is going to be the prettiest at night, because you're going to have the beautiful reflection of it on the water. Sorry, I may have just dodged that question and answered all of the stations, because they all have their own characteristics, and they're all really, really cool in their own right. Hey Gator Mickey, welcome. Skip, hey, from Ohio, going to be here in 3 weeks. Very, very cool. So here from Ohio, let me show you here. Had to wear my brown shirt because we signed Odell Beckham. So we basically signed the dotted line that we're going to win the AFC and hopefully a Super Bowl. Been a Browns fan all my life, so really, really excited about that. Let's see, Art of Animation was supposed to be 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and Pop Century is the way it is now, and the generation gap between the two resorts. Again, they could use it again for the next 2 years to do new cars, but then they reopen this year. I think there's a few different conversations here. Yeah, the Art of Animation was originally supposed to be all part of Pop Century, and all of these buildings, you're right, were supposed to be 20s, 30s, and 40s, and 50s, and then this was all supposed to be one huge resort. And I believe it was because of 9/11, you know, all that stuff happened and that kind of all went south here. So they only did half of the resort and then finally reimagined the Art of Animation over here, which I think is awesome. I mean, you get the Art of Animation, which is a gorgeous resort. And it's just a lot of fun because, I mean, you have these amazing over-the-top characters. Let's see, Matt, does the Unwrapped Gondola have a character on it? No, it's just a plain yellow gondola. I don't foresee them unwrapping any more gondolas, especially the character ones. They definitely want to save those for, you know, a grand unveiling if they so choose to do so. But the yellow one is most likely going to be the only one we'll see unwrapped, just because they're using it for testing temperatures. So they have it unwrapped so they can see, you know, how the sun reflects off it. They have, you know, instruments on the inside to measure the wind flow and the temperatures and things like that. Hey Matthew, thank you again, $9.99 for the super chat. Very much appreciated, my friend. See, Adam, have they announced, where to go? Have they announced a date for operation? Nothing official yet. You know, we've been talking about that for a little bit. The possibilities are there for them to open it prior to Galaxy's Edge now. Again, we have to keep an eye on the Caribbean Beach station because that's pretty much the central hub. So as that station goes, you know, we'll be able to determine whether or not they'll be able to get it open. Hey Robbie, welcome. Here's the answer to any technical questions that people may have. Oh yeah, Robbie is here to answer. Yeah, any kind of technical questions you have about the Skyliner, Robbie is the go-to guy to answer those. And you can check out his Facebook page. He's got a really great page, mostly about the Disneyland and Disney World Skyway, which was created by Von Roll, and that's Von Roll VR 101 Sky Rides over in Facebook. Hey Sherry, welcome. Steve, any construction at the All-Star Music Resort? Have not gotten a chance to get over there. That is definitely on the list to do another walkthrough. I did a full walkthrough, but that was a while back. I know that they were going to start doing a lot of construction over there, so we'll get over there as soon as I can. There is the life. Life of the Disney duck. Ivan, did I answer my question about the sound? I'm sorry I did not see that question. Let me see if I can swing back here and find it. Question about the noise level with the mechanics that move the Skyliner, a certain level of noise. Good question. These things are very silent. Doppelmayer's come up with some sound deadening technology that they've used, and the best one that we can determine, obviously because it's been running, is the Hollywood Studio Station, and it is very, very silent when you stand next to it. The only thing that you can really hear is when you stand in the parking lot and the gondolas go over the sheaves. There's a little bit of noise as they go over the top of the sheaves, but other than that, the stations themselves are very quiet, so that's not going to be an issue as far as noise levels. It's not a very loud system at all. Hey Michael, welcome. Mr. Von Roll, the old gravity-fed 101. What tripped the release of the gondola down the track? A timer, another gondola coming in on the other side. All right, hopefully we get an answer to that. Bird, what are the buoys in the water? The green, those are oil booms. When they do construction, that's to prevent any sort of leakage, oil contaminants, any other debris from getting out into the water. Not quite sure why they had them right back there. I don't know what they're trying to protect back here, if they're planning on doing something here in the near future. But around the construction sites, you see them on the other side of Hourglass Lake back there. And they also have them, like Coronado Springs is another place, they have them in front of the tower. But that's basically just to catch any kind of debris in case anything major were to happen. Robbie, the Doppelmayr D-Line has the lowest level of noise out of any mono cable ever built. Yeah, this is definitely a top-of-the-line system that Disney has installed here with Doppelmayr. They're really trying to make a statement as far as the technology that they're using, as far as the transportation itself, the numbers, the speed, the weight limits, everything. They're really trying to push the limits and make a statement. And it just looks cool. I'm really, really psyched about the gondolas. The more gondolas that I see, I actually did see a 7 Dwarfs gondola as well. Didn't get a picture of it. I saw it while I was driving. But I saw a 7 Dwarfs one. We've seen the Pirates of the Caribbean one, the Scrooge McDuck, Clarabelle Cow. I mean, they're all across the board as far as characters that they're using. So Disney had announced, that some of the characters they were going to use, some of the basic ones, Mickey and Minnie, Donald, Wreck-It Ralph, Toy Story, those kind of things, but they held back on some of the really, really cool ones that are going to be very unexpected that we're going to see. So this is kind of neat to see. You can really see the massive platform that they have supporting these towers, these massive concrete foundations. These towers have to support so much weight. Michael, they go over the towers like Frosty the Snowman, thumpity thump. Yeah, that's about the loudest portion of the Skyliner that I've heard, is when they do go over the towers. But again, the stations themselves are very, very quiet. And this is where they store a lot of the equipment. I'm sure you've seen some of my aerial shots down into here. Some of the things that they store. All the gondolas were kind of brought in here prior to being taken over to the Caribbean beach. All the hanger arms are stored in here, which they're only down to about maybe 20 or 30 hanger arms. So as far as the gondolas themselves, most of the gondolas are here and over at the Caribbean beach. There's at least probably 300 gondolas over there now. They've removed a lot of the trees that were here. There's all kinds of trees that used to be around here. So they've opened up this area quite a bit. Let's see, Robbie, the old Von Roll VR101s are set into a dispatcher. Most VR101s are automatic, dispatched by the timer. 12-second intervals is the standard. So there's the answer to that. Greg, how's Coronado Springs coming along? It is coming along very, very quickly. Every single time I drive into property, the tower just becomes more and more amazing. I mean, it is so almost complete. Again, they have that July deadline to meet. And even at night, you go through and like all of the windows are lit up inside. So there's, they have most of the electrical done inside. The rooms are lit up. It just looks really, really beautiful over there. Bennett, I wonder if this lift will have a direct drive. Robbie or Michael, if you want to jump in on that, can talk a little bit about the system itself. I know it does have a hydraulic tension. It's not counterweights for the haul rope. Ivan, any idea on the ride estimated time between resorts and parks? This run right here between Art of Animation and the Caribbean Beach is going to be less than 2 minutes. Same for Hollywood Studios, less than 2 minutes. The run over to between Caribbean Beach and Epcot is going to be the longest of those runs, and that's probably about 7 to 9 minutes. It's a very, very quick moving operation. You can see, obviously you've seen probably the testing videos over at Hollywood Studios, and 7 meters per second is the Doppelmayr D-line. That's what it runs at, which is about 15.5 miles an hour. And it truly does zip along. So you're not going to be up in the air for very long. So that's why the AC issue really isn't going to be that big of a deal. Again, this is all cleared out here. This is some really great shots. I'm going to get some pictures. It's going to be really pretty once these gondolas are coming overhead, especially right here. I mean, they're going to be so close. Very pretty. Sippity Doodad, I have to get back to work. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thanks for being here, my friend. And I'll email you back the next day or two. Robbie, some of the D-lines are direct drive and some aren't. So are we, let's see, I believe Mr. Von Roll. So it's a gearbox. Is how this is, let's see, I got all kinds of answers here. I want to say it is that the D-line is a direct drive. Then Robbie says gearbox. Michael says, okay, I believe Mr. Von Roll. Earl, just got here, recap everything I've covered. Well, just to recap, they're building this really cool thing called a Disney Skyliner, and that's what we're looking at. So that kind of sums it up. Now we did a walk around Hourglass Lake. Not a whole lot going on here. Just the station itself looks really nice as far as progress. No testing has started here. We've talked about possible openings prior to Galaxy's Edge. It is a possibility. It all depends on what happens at the Caribbean beach. They really have to get that station in order for them to open, the different lines, because that's the central hub. They've done a lot of clearing along the lake here. They've been sending crews up on top of the towers all day yesterday. They were going back and forth between the towers and doing, different things, wiring or whatever they do on the top. So not quite sure exactly when they'll get going. I can't imagine that's going to be much more to where we get the testing started here, which I'm really looking forward to, because all we've seen is basically going over a parking lot right now at Hollywood Studios. This is going to be really gets pretty is when it starts going over the lake. Hey, Disney Nerd Herders. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hunter, going to Pop Century on Sunday. Very, very cool. Hey, Tim from Massachusetts. Let's see. Bennett, normal drivetrain, motor backup, gearbox, and bull wheel. That is all how it's running here. Let's see, Michael, Mr. Von Roll, I actually made a custom model of the Von Roll Skyway for a Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I can't talk. Oh, definitely check that out. I'll have to check that out too. That's very cool. I know Modeling Disney on here does some, there we go. Modeling Disney is working on some very, very cool 3D modeling of the Skyliner itself. Modeling Disney, I can't find any updated satellite photos of construction. I really haven't looked for those lately. Nemo with glasses, I missed the conversation with the Imagineer winking. Can you elaborate on that once again? Basically, one of the, at the Caribbean beach, one of the Imagineers was coming out yesterday and, just kind of making small talk. And I asked her if she thought that the Skyliner would open prior to Galaxy's Edge, and she just kind of smirked and said no comment. So, take it as you will. Was it a haha, there's no way, or is it a haha, we got great things coming? I'd like to take it as the latter and think that they want to keep this ahead of schedule and try to get it open. Skip, what is the date for the tower at Coronado Springs opening? I believe it was July 8th or 9th, one of those days, but it's right in the beginning of July. Our restaurant should open right around the same time as well. D, Wood, is the haul rope moving? No, they haven't moved this haul rope in quite a while. Like I said, they've been doing different tweaking and stuff on top of the towers, and the gondola itself has moved over to the Caribbean beach, so there's not even a gondola in the station here. So I don't know if it's the calm before the storm, or if there's an actual issues that they're trying to work out before they start, but I have not seen any movement. I pretty much check this station, especially every day, just because I believe it's going to be next in line for testing, and nothing yet. They're keeping us hanging on a thread. Stephen S., I was there 2 weeks ago and saw a new hotel building being built, hotel near a new Bonnet Creek. You can see it from Epcot Center Drive and I-4. Any idea what it will be? Yes, that is actually part of the Bonnet Creek Resort back there. They're building this massive new tower back there as well, which that is crazy big back there. I've never physically been back there, but I've seen pictures and stuff of it. I want to try to get back there at some point and check it all out, but they're building a new tower that you can see from I-4. It looks like it's going to be really nice. But they're going to be building the Cove, which is part of the Swan and Dolphin, which is owned by Marriott. That's going to go up. They're going to build the new nature-inspired resort over on the old River Country land. Obviously, the Coronado Springs Tower is going up. The new Star Wars Hotel. So all kinds of crazy stuff happening as far as rooms being built on property. So they're building all the rooms. We need to get more space. We need that fifth gate in order to put all these guests in. John, do you think it will be opening the first week of August, coming in 140 days? There's the potential. Like we said, we don't have an exact date. Obviously, Disney will announce one thing, and just like they did with Galaxy's Edge, they'll kind of surprise us and say it's going to open a lot sooner. So I'm hoping, at least by the end of summer. Again, they're starting the cast member testings beginning of April, and that will start over at Hollywood Studios. Outside of that, if they can get this line, the testing started on this line, and get that Caribbean Beach station done, and get some progress done on the Epcot side as well, maybe we'll get this open. So I got a very loud cart going behind me here. I could literally stand here all day and just look at this view because it's so very, very pretty. Chris, do you know where the Star Wars Hotel is going to be? Yeah, it's actually right behind Hollywood Studios, so it will actually connect in some fashion to Galaxy's Edge itself. They have the land cleared back there, but they don't have any structure as of yet being built. But it is right behind Hollywood Studios. It sits right off of Osceola Parkway between Osceola and World Drive. Stephen, I've stayed at the Hilton and the Wyndham Bonnet Creek. I wonder if what hotel brand it will be. I believe it is Wyndham. I believe, from what I saw, I think it's Wyndham. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's Wyndham. LifeTech, thanks for sharing the progress. Is there any construction updates for the angle station? Oh, for the turn over at Boardwalk. That looks to be fairly well done as well. I don't, they're over there just like all the stations. There's usually some crews over there doing, some final touches on things. But that station looks fairly well complete. It's lit up at night. It looks really pretty. I don't want to call it a station. I'm sorry. It's just a turn. It sits right in the Boardwalk parking lot, but it looks fairly well complete over there as well. So as far as them starting testing back and forth between Epcot and Riviera, the Riviera is coming along very, very well. We saw that yesterday. So again, I believe that they're going to start the testing here. This will take, a month or so for the testing, and then hopefully they'll get that Epcot side as far as testing going. And we'll see. It's just kind of a waiting game right now, what Disney thinks that they can come up with. Modeling Disney, always love watching the Von Roll Skyway videos of his model. Yeah, absolutely. Really doing some pretty cool stuff over there. Allie, sorry I was away for a few minutes. What is the station nearest to Pop? Which area or buildings? Oh, I meant to do that when I was over there. I'm sorry. So it would be 50s. 60s is pretty much going to be your nearest buildings over there. Let me zoom in. So this is the 50s. That might be a little too tight. I'm sorry, but 50s, and then you have the 60s area right there, and that building is the 60s, and there is the station. I'm sorry, I did not check room numbers when I was over there. And I knew I said I would. But that building right there, it is the 60s. That's the closest. Hey, Paul, welcome. See, Florida Joe, what do we got here? Florida Joey Con. Von Roll, how often will the maintenance bring the Skyliner down on average? It's a good question. I don't really have a good answer for that. As far as maintenance, they'll be able to probably rotate gondolas in and out as needed. As far as maintenance on the stations and the haul rope itself, it'll be like anything at Disney. They'll have technicians that'll keep an eye on that. I'm sure they'll do a lot of different maintenance checks. They'll keep an eye on all the stations, all the inner workings to make sure that this runs properly. Doppelmayr itself has a very, very good track record for safety, so they're not going to take any chances. And Disney itself, number one priority for Disney is always safety. So, Modeling Disney, Rob, is it possible to walk across Century Drive and reach the Caribbean Beach Resort by foot? Just curious. No, you really can't, there's an access road that goes over to the Caribbean beach, but it's not really for public access, and there's not really a walkway that you can get back and forth. So this is pretty much your option to get back and forth between Caribbean and Art and Pop. Tab and Kurt, hey, welcome. Jack and Sandy got claws. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jamie, hello. Robbie, maintenance about once a year for the entire ride. Will be down for about 2 weeks a year. Okay, that's now will they check things on a regular basis? So will there be any kind of techs that will actually check it, like I said, and then Doppelmayr will probably come out and do the actual maintenance check once a year, where you say it'll get shut down. Chris, the last time I was at Disney World was when the monorail crashed. Well, that was a while back. You definitely got to get back down here. It's a whole new world. Let's see here. There you go. Beat Michael to the answer there. Paul, looking at staying at the Beach and Yacht Club again next year. What are your thoughts on club level rooms? I don't know much about the club level. I stayed at the Beach Club back when we did the Disney cruise back in like 2003 or 4, something like that. And I thought it was nice. I wasn't like overly thrilled with it. I like the resorts. I think they're beautiful resorts. Just the rooms themselves weren't, overwhelmingly wow to me. So, but I'm sure, that's changed. It's been, 15 years ago that I actually physically stayed in there. So it'd be kind of hard for me to answer. I mean, it is a beautiful resort. They've done all kinds of renovations. Obviously, they do renovations all the time. I think anytime you're in the club level, it's going to be a step up from what I stayed in. So I don't think you'll have any issues with it. Let's see, Michael, daily inspections. What are we saying here? Robbie, there will be 5 ride maintenance people on the ride at all times. So there'll be 5 ride maintenance people on the ride at all times. Wow. Michael's telling me to stick to videos. So I think I'm probably talking about stuff that I may be getting wrong. As far as maybe daily maintenance, I'm trying to learn this as well, so that's a good question, so I know how to answer it in the future. So Robbie says that there'll be 5 maintenance persons at all times checking out the ride. So, hey Joe, welcome. When will the gondolas be on this line? We've been trying to figure that out. They've been doing a lot of work on the towers. They constantly send crews up on top, and they're doing a lot of tweaking. The gondola is not actually in the station over here anymore. It's over at the Caribbean beach. I would imagine that they would have to get this going fairly quick. Like I said, I check here pretty much every day to see if they start anything over here. But from the looks of it, it looks really ready to go. They haven't ran the haul rope or anything, so there's no testing that I've seen. Florida Joey Com, what's unique about the Bonnet Creek resorts is although you enter on Disney property, the land that Wyndham and Hilton built was never owned by Disney. Different Swan and Dolphin, which is Disney property. That's correct. The story that I heard, it was like a stubborn old farmer or something who owned that land when Walt was trying to purchase it all, and he refused to sell. So they've owned that land, and it's not actually Disney owned, which is the only piece of property on Disney that's like that. So they have this whole world in there. That's kind of why it's like set in its own kind of area back there. Unless you really know about it, it's not really noticeable, especially off of Buena Vista Drive. There's just a little sign that goes back into there. So Disney doesn't advertise or push it very much because it's not owned by them. And you're right, the Swan and Dolphin is different. It's actually on Disney property. But the Marriott owns the Swan and Dolphin, and I believe they lease the area of the property there. Robbie, as far as grip maintenance, there is an RFID sensor at each grip. As they pass through the stations, it counts each coupling and uncoupling of the grip. Once it reaches a cycle time, it gets pulled for rebuilding. Very, very cool. All right, so it's all based on the technology that they're going to use to monitor how long each one of the gondolas run, the grips, different things like that, when it'll actually be pulled for a maintenance interval. See, I love learning this kind of stuff as we go along. Joe, Rob, any information on the t-shirts and hats? Still kind of working on that. Trying to figure out a very cool t-shirt to put out. I'm trying to work up something actually with Modeling Disney on here. He's kind of helping me out. Want to do something cool with the Skyliner itself. So I think that would be a lot of fun. So as soon as I can get those out, I promise that I am in the process of doing that. I just want to get some cool stuff to get out there, other than just a plain logo. Florida Joey Con, I am correct. Very cool. Linda, will they run at night? Absolutely. That's one of the big reasons that they have the Skyliner, is to get the massive crowds of people out of the parks. After the fireworks, you have tens of thousands of people that come out at one time, so they'll be running at night. Whether or not the outside of the gondola will light up, the CWA gondolas do have lit gondolas out there. It's a really cool. They kind of have this LED lighting that goes around sort of the framework of it. I've looked really closely at these gondolas and I can't tell. I mean, LED lighting is kind of hard to see if they have on the outside. I would assume that they probably will light up in some fashion. We know that there is power on the gondolas. There's a battery box that's on top that gets charged every single time it goes into one of the stations. It's constantly recharging. So that will power, we know, the interior. They'll have music, announcements and lighting, maybe a fan on the inside, possibly video camera, whatever technology they have inside. Hopefully it will power something on the outside as well. I would love to see them lit up, especially this view right here. The gondola's lit up, glowing, along the water. Would just be some gorgeous pictures to take. Hey, how are you?
Good. I was just watching.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How are you?
Great. We're from Connecticut. We're in Building 10.
Oh,
And
enjoy your stay. I'm on live right now, so.
Great job.
Thank you very much. Let's see, D-Wood, they're beginning demolition on the river country, by the way. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get over there. A lot of people have been asking about that. They take so long to do like foundation and level out, even like the Star Wars Hotel. They've been just doing the foundation work on that for a very long time, which you have to imagine there's so much that has to go underneath it. They have to level all that ground. They have to put all the, the sewage, the water, the pipes, whatever they do underneath before they even start laying any kind of hotel foundation itself. Robbie, to give you a general idea, the full Von Roll VR101 grip and hanger are from Doppelmayr, cost $25,000 a piece. Jeez. Doppelmayr D-line grips and arms are roughly $42,000 each. Just for the arm and the grip each. That is insane. I can't even imagine what the gondola itself costs, let alone the entire system. I mean, wow. I mean, it's tens of millions of dollars probably into this system when you think about it. Michael, work calls me away for a bit. Thank you for being here, my friend. Always a pleasure. Florida Joey Con, it seems for wheelchair and scooter access to the Skyliner, they will have to stop the Skyliner to load. Right, they do have, again, they have a secondary track. You can go back and watch these videos if you don't know the process. But as the Skyliner enters the station, there's two separate tracks. So the front track, as it goes around, will be the normal loading process to where people will walk. It'll slow down to 1 mile an hour or whatever it slows down to, and people can walk on and they can walk off. That's your normal loading. Then there's a secondary track that goes behind, where they'll have, 2 or 3 gondolas that they run back onto that track where they can stop those gondolas, and they can take all the time they need to load a scooter on, load a wheelchair on. Once they're on, then that back track, that gondola comes and it rejoins those front gondolas again. So they can take all the time they need in that secondary track in order to load scooters and wheelchairs. So they won't stop the entire system. It's not like when you ride the Haunted Mansion and they have to stop the entire ride in order to load, a wheelchair or a scooter on. This is a constantly moving, constantly moving, and then those stopped gondolas will rejoin the haul rope once they're finished in that secondary track. D, would I edit video for a living? Therefore, this is considered working for me, possibly. Let's see, you're obviously at work. I'm sure I missed whatever that conversation is about. Brian, you have been shown the gondola testing previously. Do you think they will move faster than the test speeds that we've seen so far? They might be. I think from what we've seen, it's pretty well close to probably what they're going to run. We've probably seen anywhere from 13, 14 miles an hour is what they've been running at. They're capable of 15.5 miles an hour. Whether or not they'll run at that top speed, we'll see. But what we've seen is probably going to be pretty close to what we'll see on a normal basis, because that's really what they're doing right now. They're testing the spacing, they're testing the speed. They want to get the max output, to get the gondolas as close together as they can and as much speed out of the gondolas, because the more speed, the closer together you have the gondolas, the more people you're going to be able to move at one time. And Disney is really trying to press to, push the limits as far as that 4,500 to 5,000, person per hour. They are going to try to stretch that as much as they can. Florida Joey Con, thanks. I missed that previous show. This is a unique system for wheelchairs. Awesome. Absolutely. Disney goes all out to accommodate all their guests. It's a very, very cool system what they have in place here. Everybody's going to be able to ride. Everybody's going to be able to enjoy it. So nobody's going to be left out, which is an awesome, awesome thing. The CWA gondolas, they're Omega 4 gondolas, which they are totally ADA compliant. I believe it's 820 millimeter opening for the wheelchair and scooter access, which is, I think, 32.5 inches, which ADA compliant is right at 32 inches. So they're right in tune for being totally compliant with all the needs. All right, Ian, welcome from the UK, checking in Port Orleans on May the 2nd, wondering the Skyliner might look at night, how the Skyliner might look at night. We were just talking about that. Hopefully they are going to light up. There's power supplies on the gondola that will light up the interior with music and sound and all that. As far as the exterior, I've looked closely. The gondolas, CWA does make gondolas that do light up. They have exterior lighting that kind of goes around the framework, LED lighting that looks really cool. Whether or not Disney has that option on board, I can't tell from even zooming in to see if there's LED lighting. It's kind of hard to tell. I can't imagine that they wouldn't want to light them up. Obviously, they're trying to make an impression with the gondolas themselves, how amazing they look with these characters, the gorgeous colors that they're using. I mean, they're bright, they're fun. The artwork is just amazing. So it's going to look beautiful during the day. Why not have them look just as gorgeous at night, especially with these views coming over the water, coming into Hollywood Studios. They want to show this thing off. This is going to be a centerpiece. This is going to be beautiful. So 99%, I would assume that they would probably light up on the outside as well. Allie, do you have an idea about how the lines will be to get on to this? Let's see, construction stats to show this. As far as the lines themselves, how long it will take to get on board, that's kind of yet to be determined. Again, judge this kind of like the people mover. It's a constantly moving process, so the gondolas are constantly moving on the inside. So people are always getting off, they're always getting on. So the line, it's not going to be like standing in line waiting for the monorail where you have to, wait for the next monorail to come and then, a few hundred people get on board and then you got to wait for the next one. This is constantly moving. So, 6 to 8 people about every couple seconds will be getting on. You get on and you're off, and then the next group of people gets on and they're off. The next group, next group, next group. So determine if you've ever seen how the people mover works. The line is pretty well constantly moving. So you will have long lines, but it's going to be a pretty well constantly moving line. So you're not just going to be standing there, roasting in the sun or whatever, trying to wait for your gondola to get there. It's going to be a constantly moving process. Robbie, the CWA cabins cost from $15,000 to $35,000 each. Each one is NDT tested before it is sent off to the customer. So let's see, $15,000 to $35,000 each. So the arm and the grip actually cost more than the gondola, if that's what you're saying. That's kind of shocking. So the arm, obviously the arm really has to be the secure part of the system. I mean, that's what is supporting the gondola up there. So see, Scott, not really that it adds much to this conversation since this is obvious. You specified for Disney, but other lift systems run between 4.5 to 15 million per mile. So yeah, that it adds a lot. So this is not a cheap system, but apparently it's cheaper than the monorail. It's easier to expand, it's easier to maintain, those kind of things. But I could totally see that 4.5 to 15 million per mile for other lift systems. And Disney is really trying to put a mark on it here, so I couldn't even imagine what the price tag would be for the entire system. Let's see, Keith, we're staying at Caribbean Beach again this summer, and my family don't believe me about the alligators living in the lake. Do you know either way? Well, they have signs. There's signs all around the lakes. Like I said, I've been coming to Disney for many, many, many years, since the 70s, and I have never ever seen an alligator myself on property. We do know they exist. Obviously, there's been things that have happened in the past. Disney is very good about locating and removing as quickly as possible. So I walk around these resorts daily, and I have never seen anything to be fearful of in any of the waters. Not to say that it's not there. You can see a sign right here, actually. There's danger alligators and snakes in the area. They have to put these signs up, but I've never physically seen one myself. Hey, Resort TV1, welcome, welcome, welcome. Always great to have you here. You're kind of coming in right at the end of the live stream here. We did our entire walk around Hourglass Lake. Check out the station progress over here. The station looks beautiful. There's no testing in sight yet, which is kind of disappointing, but it will come shortly. But unfortunately, I think I'm right at the end of my video here. Like I said, Rob, here is a flashback to the Disneyland Skyway in 1956. Only cost $300. Flashback, the Disneyland Skyway in 1956 only cost $300. $300 for what, though? I can't imagine the whole Skyway system itself. Was it per gondola? You got to clear that up a little bit. Resort TV1, just heard about alligators. I saw one at Boardwalk once. It was behind a concrete barrier, and we felt safe. So there you go. There's one that's been sighted. Like I was just saying, I've been here so many different times, and I've never physically seen one myself. But not saying that they don't exist. It's Florida. I mean, there's Florida and there's water. That equals alligators, so. Scott, Doppelmayr is the company who built the Hogwarts Express, which is technically the same as a lift system. Really, the train that goes, the Hogwarts Express, the train, Doppelmayr built that. I did not know that. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit. I'd love to find out more information about that. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, maybe Dave C says 300K. Okay, so Robbie, yeah, so 300K was the for the Skyway system. Yeah, that seems a little better number. An amazing system though, the Skyway. We all love it, you know, back in Disneyland and Disney World. And again, if you guys don't know the story, Von Roll actually built the Skyway for Disneyland and Disney World, and they were purchased by Doppelmayr back in the 90s. And Doppelmayr is the company who is currently building the Skyliner. So I always like to throw that out there. It's kind of you know, the circle kind of comes full evolution, that the Skyway is sort of part of the Skyliner now in its own unique way. All right, everybody. I think it's about that time. It's getting close to where I have to go pick up my daughter from school, so life beckons. But let me get you turned around. We'll say our goodbyes. I appreciate you guys for being here, as always. I love seeing you all, and I will definitely be back tomorrow. Follow passporttotheparks.com. You can see all kinds of great stuff there. I always try to put follow-up stories and pictures and that kind of stuff when I get the opportunity to. You can always email me. It's rob@passporttotheparks.com if you ever want to meet up, if you have questions and stuff. I do try to answer as quickly as I can. I don't always get to it right away, but I promise I will get back to you as soon as I can. Leave comments, subscribe here on YouTube, follow all the social media. You know the drill. Thank you so much for the super chats, guys. Let me see once more. That was Matthew. Thank you very, very much. Always appreciated. And Michael as well. Thank you for the super chats. We will be back. Let's see here. Robbie, Hogwarts is a funicular. Sorry if I can't say that word. Hold on a second. Doppelmayr uses the same technology from Von Roll. All right, I'm gonna look at the this Hogwarts Express thing and try to find out a little more about that. You got me. My curiosities have peaked. So, all right, guys. You guys take care. We'll talk to you soon. Tomorrow, actually, I'll be back. So, bye-bye.